Hello, I'm Larry, and this is Carter's Country, but you probably already knew that. Today, I'm happy to be joined by a very special guest, Mr. Miles Enzor, a Sig Sauer field training rep. Okay, Miles, could you kind of take us through some of the grip options, the sight options, magazine options that are available in the 365?
All right, so no problem on that. First of all, we'll go back to this one right here. This is a 365 SAS, which you notice had a special sight, is all buffed off. This is part of the original family of 365, which was a 10 round, or you could do the optional extended 12 round mag. So right here, we'll show the public. These are both 10 round mags. Notice one has a pinky extender and one is just flush fit. Okay. Like I said, once again, depends on the concealability that people are looking for. Let's go ahead and grab a 365X here and show you the difference, because I think there's some confusion out here with the public. Is notice that one's a 10 round, one's a 12 round. They both have similar bottom plates to them, but that's where a lot of people get confused is. If you own a standard 365, you will be using a 10 rounder, or you can buy a 12 rounder. Now, a unique rabbit trail here is any 12 or 15 round mag that you buy from Sig in the box will come with the floor plate. And for the public out there that don't know, this is the floor plate that is on the bottom of the mag. You get both floor plate options. So you own a 365 and I have a 365X. We both walk in and buy a 12 rounder. It will cover both of us, okay, because you are going to put one floor plate on that fits your 365. Right. I will put the flush plate floor mag on, if it's not already installed on the gun, that works with my pistol.
And that's included with the magazine.
That's included with the magazine.
Another separate purchase. So, you got it.
Yep.
Okay.
So, and if a customer owns both a 365 and a 365X, based on how they want to implement those magazines, right, they'll be able to change the floor plate out and use those. Let's say they need 6 mags for a shooting class that they're taking. If they need to steal some mags from their other 365, as long as they have the other floor plate, they can convert them out, use them for that class, and then when they're done with the class, change them back out to whatever gun they need to apply to. And look right here. So this has this is a 15 round mag. So if we hold the 12 round up to the 15 rounder, you can see it's longer. The 15 rounder, this one happens to have the full blown floor plate that fits in the standard 365.
Okay.
Now, the other floor plate that would go in the X series is about half that width. So once again, the 15 rounders come with both floor plates for either a standard 365 or an X 365.
So you're covered either way.
Covered either way. So, and we'll go ahead and put the pinky back in here. Go right there like that. Now, which leads us into, we built the 365. We talked about this a little bit, how we went to a new X. The X stands for the grip module. Just like in the 320s, the X grip module is a little bit higher performance, ergonomically friendly grip module, which means we put a little bit more undercut here. We extended out the beaver tail right here. And then also, not only is it now it's a 12 round grip instead of a 10 round, but we put kind of a base flared mag well in there for the customers. So for people that are doing tactical classes, you get a little bit more ergonomically friendly on your reloads. So that's just some of the unique things that we did with the 320. So you have your standard 365, you have your 365X, and that has to do with the grip module and the capacity. One thing you see out there that was hugely popular is when we came out with the 365 XL, which basically is the X stands for the grip module, L being a long slide.
Okay.
So if we hold up to the camera here, and hopefully I'll do this right for everybody watching out there in video land. If you see right here, you'll see a 1/2 inch to a 5/8 inch longer slide.
Okay.
So
what would be, I mean, there was obviously a market for that or you wouldn't have done it. What led to coming out with the?
Well, like all things out there, everybody wants a subcompact, deep concealed carry gun, but usually everybody wants to push the limits on that. So the first thing I got is are you going to make a longer slide? Well, sure enough, we came out with a longer slide. We call it the XL. And that's when we introduced the gun world to the X grip and to the XL, which is the long slide. And, then, people want even longer slides. Well, then you're defeating the purpose of the 365.
Yeah,
so
you're kind of getting out of what got you there to begin with. But the XL obviously is still highly concealable. I mean,
and that's a huge question we get. Well, I really want something bigger than the XL. That's the reason, if you noticed when we did the 320 video, I focused heavily on the X Compact. The X Compact is actually an intermediary pistol between the 365 XL and a standard compact 320. It's a subcompact slide and gives you a standard 15 round grip. If you want to get bigger than the XL, it's 12 rounds. Right. You want a little bit bigger pistol, a little bit more length and size, right. You're going to go to the X Compact. It is an intermediary between those two platforms. So now the funny thing is there, as we have people asking us to go to a longer slide, we have people going, well, I really like my standard length 365 slide, but I really like that X grip. Well, initially, like people like me, we had access to the grip modules. We were making our own homemade 365Xs, which is a short slide, but with the XL grip module, the X grip module, which is 12 round. But now from the factory, about 2 or 3 months ago, we dropped that as a standard platform on the market. Okay. So you can get the short slide, but with the 12 round X grip. And it's one of those things, once again, we're back to the versatility thing.
Right.
You want a really short slide, but you have large hands. So I like that X grip module, but some people, like I said, really love a deep concealed weapon. They're gonna wanna stick with a standard 365. So I think there's, including some of the special makeups that we have floating out there, like the flat dark earth edition or the two-tone black slide and flat dark earth grips, there's probably about 8 or 9 variations of the 365 available to the public. And that doesn't include, segueing into optics, is all the optics ready platforms that we have out there.
So basically, if you get into the 360, you decide you want a 365, you've still got a lot of choices to make, yes. Right? Yeah. Which is great because sometimes people will get painted in a corner. They want extreme concealability, and they feel like, man, that really shrinks down my options. But here they've picked a brand of gun, and they've picked a model, and now they still have choices. That's great.
It makes for, it's just really consumer friendly as far as the available options you have to pick. Because the worst thing is, you could take 10 people that walk in a gun store, everybody has their own idea of what they want, just as if they were buying an outfit or something, or shoes or whatever. And guns are no different.
Yeah, a lot of people buying their first, I'm sorry, a lot of people buying their first gun don't realize how personal it is as far as the fit and the feel and all that. It really is. The analogy of clothes is dead on accurate. Yeah. You can do all the research you want online, but until you get your hands on it, you're not really going to know.
Yeah. Down to the colorization. I mean,
That's
people like their purple and blue and their pinks and tans and everything else that's out there. So once again, Sig's already started doing that. You can buy the tan grip modules. You can buy the gray grip modules, and I'm sure there's going to be, like all things in life, we're just going to keep expanding that into what the consumer wants to see. You guys are really responsive to the customer, market and what they want. I mean, you make such a great pistol that has such a great purpose here. You could kind of just say, hey, that's the 365, and it would stand on its own, and you would still be successful. But to continue to push the envelope to offer the options is really another great reason to look at Sig. Oh yeah, it's it makes it hard sometimes. Sometimes I wear a concealed pistol based on how I'm feeling for the day, or I feel like an all metal large gun today, and I feel like a 365 day. If you're just wearing gym shorts, the 365 is great, but some days I want to carry a larger pistol. So, but within the 365 or 320 platform, you have the ability to in the versatility to change out to what you need for that particular day, or right. Whether it's conceal or range day, or
I'm glad to know I'm not the only person that picks out their carry gun for the day like people pick out shoes or clothes, because I'll do that sometimes. It's like, I see that one and I'm like, man, I haven't carried that one in a while, and you got to show a little love to everything in the gun. Absolutely, I don't want to neglect a gun. That'd be horrible.
Yeah, now. We'll get into the optics real quick if you want to.
Yeah,
we'll kind of deviate into that for a minute. You notice here that both the 365X and the XL, both are mounted with a Romeo 0. We now have a shroud for that. Side note to that, we have customers that bought the pistol with the Romeo 0 installed, or they bought one of the first people to buy a Romeo 0, and they go, well, I need a shroud for it. My understanding is you call into Sig and tell them that you have a pistol, an optics ready platform that already came with a 0 on it, or you bought the Romeo 0, one of the first people to buy it, and you would like the shroud now. they just going to charge you shipping and they'll send you a shroud.
Wow,
so
another example of.
I don't have the shroud on these because I haven't installed it yet. I have shrouds waiting. I need to put them on, but a lot of people ask us about the Romeo Zero. It's what's unique. The Romeo Zero, the intent of the Romeo Zero, especially when people ask us, well, why is it polymer and not magnesium or aluminum? The idea was on a 365 platform, it's a deep conceal weapon. You want something as compact and light as possible to add, because throwing anything on a gun adds weight to the gun, which means that's going to change the way it carries. So if you were to hold a Zero in your hand, the Romeo Zero, it weighs about as much as a quarter. It's extremely lightweight. There's other options out there, but Sig aimed for the lightweight compactability of the Zero platform, and super simplistic. But like I said, the footprint on the X series that come with if you buy one without a Romeo Zero on it, the footprint on there is compatible with multiple brands. In the micro pistol platform, all the footprints basically stayed the same, which is kind of convenient compared to like the 320 platforms, where with the larger pistols, the footprints vary based on optics manufacturers. Whereas in the subcompact micro optics, pistol optics, they all stayed with the same footprint. So, we tell customers, we love it when you support Sig, but at the same time, I'm a gun guy, and we try to be open with public, with the public and the gun buyer is, shop around. If we meet your needs, we meet your needs. If not, be it known that the 365 will support other optics platforms and give you the opportunity to make you happy. So
that shows to me a lot of confidence in your product, that you make something like that is interchangeable with some other, not just, you didn't proprietize it to where, well, if you want an optic on your Sig pistol, it's going to be a Sig optic. It's nice to give people that choice. But me personally, I don't have an optic on mine, but if I was going to get an optic, I'm just from this school of thought that I would think Sig probably makes the best optic for a Sig pistol. It just seems simple to me,
Yeah. So now, another thing you asked me to talk about sights is, if you notice on all the 365s that have iron sights, they all come with the same sights that we ship on the Legion pistols. So if you're familiar with Sig, the Legion series is the top of our line of classic series pistols, including into the 320 series. And so they come with the X-ray sights, which are day-night. They're fiber optic and tritium inserted. So really high vis, high quality sights. So there's not cheap. Once again, this is a subcompact carry pistol. We didn't try to go cheap or budget on this. We went with premium sights on this for the customers.
Yeah, it definitely shows. And as someone who has had to take a gun to a gunsmith to get the sights I wanted put on it, it was really cool to buy a gun that right out of the box had the exact sights I wanted on it. So thanks Sig for that too.
Yeah, no, it's no problem. I was happy they came with it. So. Yeah. Made my life easier. So, but yeah, like I said out there, we don't have everything displayed here, but there's an NRA edition flat dark earth. There's some distributor exclusives that come with either gray or flat dark earth grips with a black slide. You can buy all the X series come now with the optics plate. So you can decide later on if you want to put an optic on, or you can buy our pistols optic ready, which already come with the Romeo Zero installed on that. And like you said, the versatility and the options to buy out there are incredible. So somebody will be able to, and Carter's Country, you guys have no problem ordering in. Right. I know right now it can be difficult to buy those in, but.
Yeah, well, the last year and a half has been pretty challenging, but when you're in business almost 60 years and you're successful, you learn to adapt, and Carter's has done that. And like I said, our partnership with Sig over the years has worked very well, I think, for both organizations, and it's going to continue to do nothing but grow.
You have any other questions on the 365? Because I always forget something. So.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what it would be, man. You're so good at covering these things, and I almost feel like sometimes I could introduce you, walk off, and nobody would ever notice, and then I could come back and do our outro, which our camera person loves to call it, and nobody would know the difference. And it would probably be a better video, honestly. But
I think by the look on her face, she's going to cut that out. You're not going to get away with that. So,
when I say stuff like that, I don't look at her because I get a little bit scared. Honestly, she's.
So I know I'd ask you if there's anything you could remember, but I guess there is something two things we forgot to talk about is, if you notice, some of the pistols come with a curved trigger and some come with a flat trigger. Most of the X series come with a flat trigger.
Okay.
And then the standard 365s come with a curved trigger. Now, obviously, we sell aftermarket. Well, we sell personally our own accessorized triggers that you can change out. And then there's several companies out there like Gray Guns and Zev and some of those guys.
Right.
And
really top quality options.
Yeah, there's top quality. We could sit here and name them off all day. So I hope nobody gets offended watching this video. But when I'm doing these, my mind floods with all the OEM companies out there that do this. So everybody out there has their fan favorites. So probably if it's a top name trigger or sight company or optics company or the grip modules, somebody out there is probably making an accessory for this that you can change it to. So one specific thing that was brought up is this the FT Bullseye sight on the SAS platform. We get a lot of weird questions on that, people that don't understand the platform. So if you don't mind, I'm going to deviate for a second, and we're gonna go over the uniqueness of this platform and some trouble that we've seen in the public when they buy this platform. Okay. First of all, the SAS is Sig Anti-Snag, which means we try to clean everything off this gun that would snag on clothing or be obtrusive when you're trying to holster and unholster. Some people have a bad opinion of that. They think it's weird. Some other people think it's great. To each his own. If you don't like it, we have other options for you to buy. If you think it's great, then by all means, enjoy the pistol. Now, one thing you'll notice is the original ones were ported barrel with ported slide. Got some negative feedback. People were kind of on the fence about that. As you can see here, the current SASs are not shipping with that.
Right.
So, to each his own. I'm sure you can still find a ported one out there.
Right.
But right now, we went back to a normal barrel, normal slide, kept the sight. So some positive stuff on the sight. Obviously, there's nothing for it to snag on. The other thing is, unlike a optic red dot that requires a battery, this is fiber optic, which also includes a tritium insert to feed the fiber optic at night. So this is a day and night sight. So
with no battery, that's cool.
Yeah, with no battery. Yeah. So this works off a fiber optic principle, which means you can see the sight window right here is feeding ambient light in. If you look from the back, now this is one of the things we've seen the public have a hard time with. I can't figure out how to work the sight. Well, the first thing you see is, and we're just going to show people what they do. They try to go like this, and they try to find it. Well, the first thing I tell people is that's not how you shoot a pistol. You're not holding it up to your face like this.
Not more than once.
Yeah, not more than once. You shove the pistol out.
Right.
Natural point of aim, and what you will see is, and we tell people it's a good training aid, because if you're not seeing it every time you push out, you probably need to change your natural point of aim and the way you're gripping the pistol and the way you're presenting the pistol. Because we have a lot of people that present in funny methods, when it should be point A to point B. And what you should see is a glowing fiber optic circle and a glowing fiber optic dot. And it's just like the old-fashioned ghost ring. You remember the ghost ring sights they used to put on shotguns? And some ghost rings used to be really popular on Glocks, which was a large back ring with a high-vis front sight. You put that high-vis sight right in the middle of the circle and press the trigger. The same way with the FT Bullseye sight is, you have a fiber optic ring, you have a fiber optic dot, you put the dot in the ring and squeeze the trigger, and you apply it right on the target just as normal. Fantastic. And obviously if you have any issues shooting it, it's because you're taking an eye off the sight. It doesn't matter if it's an iron sight, a red dot, or a fiber optic sight of this thing is. The accuracy issues come from not being the sight. It comes from people not applying their basic fundamentals, which is keep your eye on the sight when you're squeezing the trigger.
Right.
And they want to look down range.
Want to get ahead of themselves and see
get ahead of themselves, exactly, and see where they're impacting. So another pitfall we've seen on this is, I don't agree with sonic cleaning weapons. There's some issues that come with that. But there's a lot of people out there that do sonic cleaning, and they do it right. They use cleaners that are not harsh on the finish of a slide. But with this particular weapon system, this sight is not conducive to being submerged. And I say that politely means you will ruin the sight if you submerge it. So,
not conducive. That's a great way to put it.
Not conducive, which means don't do it. Yeah. This sight is water resistant, I guess the word's not water resistant. Or is it waterproof? Help me on this one, Larry.
Well, waterproof would mean you could submerge it.
Water resistant means you get, yes. So I was
keep
right
it dry, basically.
Yeah. So if you get rain, You get sweat and rain on this.
Right.
If you drop it on the ground, it gets water on this, and you pick it up and wipe it off, it's fine.
Right.
Submerging this in a tank or in a swimming pool or whatever you do with it is not conducive. So if you spend a lot of time around water, if you like to sonic clean your weapons, this sight is not for you. Go back to iron sights, which is a whole other discussion. But I mean, it's in the owner's manual. It should be. But that's the big thing we've seen with this is people dropping this in sonic tanks, cleaning it, and it ruins the sight. So
read the instructions.
Read the instructions.
Yeah.
So common sense. I mean, we have people go, well, I couldn't find it in the manual. Well, the big thing is you should, not everything is meant to be submerged in life. It's fully functioning, but
well, guns in general, you know, I mean, if one of my guns is underwater, something has gone wrong because I'm not sonic cleaning it. Any other situation where the gun's in the water, I've already got a problem.
And we've had people insult us over that, as far as they come down on us because of that. But I have to tell a lot of customers, iron sights. How many people do you know that put oil all over their gun? They oil their gun to no end. This is a law enforcement military designed platform. The finish on this is meant to resist most stuff. Day-night sights, fiber optic and mainly tritium sights, they do not like oil.
Right.
So a lot of people are killing their iron sights a slow death. You may ruin this right off the bat, but most people don't know they're killing their iron sights doing the same thing by putting too much oil all over the outside of their gun, and it diminishes the quality and performance of the night sight. So
well, and I hate to say this, but there are probably people in my age group. Some of these finishes and things. The guns I had early on in life.
Yep.
This was science fiction, so you didn't have it.
Yep.
And you were told you just drench that thing. And
you don't need to on modern finishes.
and we have to understand maybe you do things a little bit different with it.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
But I'm glad you pointed that out because someone watching this video that has that gun, you may have just saved them the cost of a new set of sights.
Yep. And I think we're probably going to do another session on optics specifically. I know we talked about the Romeo Zero, which we'll have another session where we can talk about optics and stuff. If you notice on here, due to the size and the compactness of this platform, you'll notice on there it's not a standard Picatinny rail. And we'll get into this. The other discussion is basically Sig makes specific lights and lasers for the 365 that specifically adapt to this platform here. It was impossible in the design to put a Picatinny rail in this.
Yeah, you would only have room for maybe one slot?
Yeah, one slot. So it's just not really works. Whereas on this we put a special rail and we were able to afford a different design, which then led to the Lima and Foxtrot 365s, which is a flashlight and a laser system, which we can get into later on. But just wanted to point that out, that's why it's a very specific system due to the size and the compactness of this weapon platform.
So if you want a light under it, it's still possible. Just you got to know that you're not getting a Picatinny.
Yep.
So if you go to buy one, you educate yourself a little bit before you start shopping for it.
Yeah, it's very specific. So if another company comes out with a laser light that attaches to that, great for them. But right now, the Lima and the Foxtrot 365s are the laser and flashlight that are available for this weapon system. And a lot of holster companies are actually working around that too. They're actually coming out with systems that are actually molded to that, including the optics and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's a great thing when you produce a winner like this for the consumer. Once they buy this, the popularity of a gun like the 365, aftermarket options and holsters. Just really, it opens wide up. You can almost tell the popularity of a gun by how many holsters are available for it. Because they sometimes wait a little bit and then all of a sudden you've got almost too many options. And I know from owning a 365, there's just no shortage of options for it. And I've got the Sig 365 holster that came with it, and you can almost forget the gun is on you sometimes. I mean, it's just incredible.
And one last unique thing is that we can now talk about, because I was told that it was now public knowledge, but just like we talked about the 320 Texas DPS,
right?
U.S. military is using 320 platforms. From my understanding is the 365, I'm not sure which platform they're going to go to, but the 365 is now the off-duty / backup platform for Texas DPS, from my
Really?
understanding. So
Makes sense. Yeah.
if this doesn't show up in the video, we'll talk about it. But if it didn't show up,
Yeah.
it's because somebody told me no, we're not supposed to talk about that. But I was told that it was public. So
Yeah. There's a lot of value in editing on these things.
yes. So, but the public out there, if you see this video, you know that we didn't edit it out because we were allowed to talk about it. So, which is a really neat thing because that's now the ability. This platform will now be in the hands of the our fellow troopers that are out there. So.
Awesome.
Yep. So.
All right. Well, thanks again for an amazing and informative video on
yeah.
another great SIG product. And remember, folks, if you've ever shopped, shot, or hunted with us, you're already a part of the Carter's Country family. Until next time, adios.
Adios.